At the dawn of time, when light and darkness was all that existed, the Absolute Being split light to create the rulers, and split the darkness to create the monarchs. While the monarchs existed to annihilate the world and the rulers sworn to defend it, a fierce and destructive conflict between them quickly happened. Because of that, after the Absolute Being died, the rulers, who want to keep things organized, so they gave special weapons and powers to certain humans to fight off monsters. These humans are the hunters we see in the story. When the monarchs lost the fight, they didn't give up. They hid away, planning to get back at the rulers by using Earth as their battlefield. They want to turn the world into a place of chaos and destruction. Enter Sung Jin-woo, our protagonist, initially one of the weakest hunters. He's practically at the bottom of the food chain, struggling to support his family and survive in the deadly world of hunters and monsters. His initial insignificance makes him an underdog. He's often overlooked and underestimated by others in the hunter community. Jin-woo got the chance of a lifetime when he was selected as the player of the system, giving him the unique ability to grow in strength without restraint. As a result, by taking advantage of the opportunities offered to him by the system, Jin-woo eventually rose to power and as humanity's greatest hunter. After he leveled up, little did he know that the Baron, the Monarch of White Flames, was waiting for him, a fierce and unyielding warrior known for his refusal to avoid conflict. Despite the substantial power difference, he didn't hesitate to confront Ashbourne, showcasing his bravery and lack of fear even in the face of certain death, refusing to betray his motives to Ashbourne. Historically, Baron, under Antari's orders, betrayed Ashbourne during the war with the rulers, attempting to assassinate him after a major battle. However, Ashbourne defeated him in Rakan, with Baron left severely injured. Defiant to the end, Baron chose death over betrayal, mocking Ashbourne even as he faced his demise. In the Return to Demon Castle arc, a clone of Baron was designed as the ultimate challenge in the Demon Castle, confronting Ashbourne's human vessel, Sung Jin-woo. Despite initially overpowering Jin-woo, Baron was ultimately defeated due to a distraction and Jin-woo's strategic counterattack, reflecting his status as a powerful monarch, albeit the clone faced by Jin-woo might have been less potent than the original Baron. Karesha, the Monarch of Plagues. Karesha is as nasty as they come, spreading diseases and plagues like they're going out of style. Her personality is as toxic as her abilities, making her one of the more dreaded monarchs. In their confrontation, Karesha tries to wear down Jin-woo with her plague powers, hoping to infect him and drain his life away. But Jin-woo, with his quick thinking and adaptability, manages to dodge her vile attacks. He employs a combination of speed, strength, and tactical summons from his shadow army to keep her at bay, eventually finding a way to break through her defenses and secure victory. Siliad, the Frost Monarch, known for his chilling presence, is one of the formidable monarchs opposed to humanity and the rulers. His counterparts seek to fulfill the monarch's collective goal, to overthrow the established order maintained by the rulers and to reshape the world according to their dark desires. The Frost Monarch's abilities are profoundly tied to cold, frost, and ice. In his significant confrontations, particularly when facing hunters or other powerful beings, he showcases the ability to lower the surrounding temperature drastically, freezing everything in his vicinity. His control over ice allows him to create weapons, barriers, and even creatures of ice to do his bidding. One of the most defining moments for the Frost Monarch is when he directly confronts Sung Jin-woo. In this engagement, he doesn't just rely on brute force, he uses the environment to his advantage, making the battlefield a place where his cold reigns supreme. This tactic forces Jin-woo to adapt rapidly, pushing him to the limits of his abilities and strategic thinking. He aims to incapacitate his opponents slowly, sapping their warmth and will to fight, which contrasts significantly with the more direct and fiery confrontation styles of other characters or entities in the series. Jin-woo as the new Shadow Monarch. After absorbing the powers of Ashbourne, the original Shadow Monarch, Sung Jin-woo is now the strongest hunter in the world and one of the most powerful individuals in existence, who's basically a god now. He's almost overpowered, and he gains the ability to raise stronger shadow soldiers and control them with unprecedented precision, an upgrade from his previous abilities. His physical strength, speed, and senses are also significantly enhanced, placing him on a different level from other hunters and entities. Jin-woo's new status as the Shadow Monarch puts him directly at odds with the other monarchs, who recognize him as both a major threat and a key player between rulers and monarchs. The rulers, the celestial beings opposing the monarchs, also recalibrate their approach towards Jin-woo. Initially viewing him as a potential ally due to his opposition to the monarchs, they're also wary of his growing powers and autonomy. Tarnak, the monstrous humanoid's king and iron body monarch. He looked down on humans, particularly Jin-woo, doubting his worth as the second Shadow Monarch. Despite his arrogance, Tarnak acknowledged his limitations, especially against Jin-woo, without Antari's support. During the Japan Crisis arc, after the Tokyo S-Rank Gate was cleared, Tarnak, alongside Karesha and Rakan, brutally eliminated Christopher Reed, demonstrating their formidable strength. Also in the climactic final battle arc, Overconfident Tarnak confronted Thomas Andre, but was ambushed by Belian and Beru, falling into a trap set by Thomas and Jin-Woo. Despite activating his spiritual body manifestation and attempting to reach out to Antares, Tarnak was isolated and ultimately defeated by Thomas, Belian, and Beru. As a monarch, Tarnak possesses significant abilities, including telepathy and the power to transform into a monstrous golem, showcasing his status among the 9 monarchs. However, his arrogance and underestimation of his enemies led to his downfall. Legia, the king of giants and monarch of the beginning, was the concealed boss within Tokyo's S-rank gate, known for his peculiar humor and cunning nature. After the absolute being's fall, Legia was captured and bound by mana-draining chains by the rulers. To weaponize him against humans, they implanted an essence stone in his neck, amplifying his human bloodlust. In the Japan Crisis arc, the rulers facilitated his escape, setting the stage for his encounter with Jin-Woo in Tokyo. Legia, eager for freedom, attempted to ally with Jin-Woo, binding them with a spell preventing deceit. Despite his attempts to manipulate Jin-Woo, his ploy was unveiled when Jin-Woo found the Essence Stone. Legia's attempt to kill Jin-Woo failed spectacularly, as he was effortlessly defeated, and his giant form shattered into light. Yogamont, the king of demonic specters and monarch of transfiguration, considered humans weak, exemplified by his disdain for Sung Il-hwan. Despite his arrogance, he recognized his limitations against the new Shadow Monarch without Antares' backing. In the recruitment arc, Yogamont encountered Ciliad in America, revealing a ruler's location in Korea. However, their plan was disrupted by Il-hwan's ambush, which they survived. During the Monarch's War, Yogamont declined to join Ciliad's attack on Jin-Woo, fearing the consequences of failure. After Jin-Woo defeated 3 monarchs in Korea, Yogamont informed Antares of the betrayal. In the final battle arc, he aided Antares by summoning dragon armies through portals, but Jin-Woo neutralized these efforts, immobilizing Yogamont and his forces with Dragon's Fear. Jin-Woo's subsequent actions left Yogamont's fate uncertain, as he and Antares were left behind. In the epilogue, 2 years later, after eliminating other monarchs, Jin-Woo finally confronts and effortlessly defeats Yogamont, ending his reign. Antares, the king of dragons and monarch of destruction, was the strongest and oldest of the 9 monarchs and served the final antagonist. Created for annihilation, he enjoyed his destructive capabilities and held a scornful view of humans, yet he showed a willingness to negotiate with those he deemed strong, like Jin-Woo. Historically, Antares participated in the ancient war between monarchs and rulers, but feared Ashbourne's power, leading to internal conflicts. Despite setbacks, he remained a pivotal force, struggling to find a suitable human vessel, which limited his mobility compared to other monarchs. In the final battle arc, after learning from Yogamont about Jin-Woo's betrayal and the loss of his forces, Antares personally engaged in the human world's devastation, leading to a massive loss of life. Confronted by Jin-Woo, he underestimated the Shadow Monarch, leading to his eventual defeat, despite initially overpowering Jin-Woo. In the epilogue, after time was rewound, Jin-Woo specifically targeted Antares last, defeating him with relative ease, despite Antares' full display of power. Antares possessed unmatched strength, speed, and durability, with abilities like Dragon's Fear and Breath of Destruction, making him a formidable opponent, yet his overconfidence and failure to adapt led to his downfall. Ashbourne, known as the King of the Dead and Monarch of Shadows, and also recognized as the strongest ruler and the greatest fragment of brilliant light, had a deep respect for life and a compassionate view toward humanity. Despite his loyalty to the absolute being, he sought to end the constant war between monarchs and rulers, ultimately deciding to pass his power to a human to cease the endless conflict. Historically, Ashbourne fought for the absolute being, but remained loyal even when others rebelled. After being fatally wounded, he discovered hidden powers within himself, becoming the Shadow Monarch. Despite his new strength, he arrived too late to prevent the absolute being's death. His overwhelming power caused fear among both sides, leading to his betrayal by monarchs Rakan and Baron, the later of whom he killed. Ashbourne's desire for peace led him to withdraw and rebuild his forces, allowing the rulers to gain the upper hand. Later, seeking his place and suitable human vessel, he found Sung Jin-Woo, choosing him as an heir and slowly training him to harness his powers. In significant arcs, Ashbourne revealed himself to Jin-Woo, offering him critical choices and insights to their shared destiny. His powers included immense strength, the ability to grant his powers, telekinetic control, shadow manipulation, and the capacity to significantly boost the strength of his shadow warriors, marking him as one of the most formidable beings in existence. Rakan, the king of beasts and the monarch of fangs. Rakan harbored a deep bloodlust, especially toward humans, displaying a brutal nature by viciously attacking an unfortunate human. Yet beneath his fearsome exterior, he was a coward at heart, quick to flee when outmatched, and hypocritical in his judgments of others' bravery. In the storyline, Rakan's journey took him from the Jeju Island confrontation, following the Shadow Monarch's traces, to the brutal assault on Christopher Reed post-Tokyo Gate clearance. He aligned with other monarchs to combat Jinwoo, demonstrating his formidable combat skills by rampaging through Seoul and battling notable hunters like Thomas Andre and Lennart Nierman. Despite temporarily overpowering Jinwoo and engaging in critical battles, Rakan's true nature surfaced when he fled upon realizing his defeat was imminent. After escaping to a secluded forest, he attempted to plead for mercy when faced with Jinwoo's wrath. However, his plea turned into a final, futile defiance before Jinwoo swiftly ended his life, marking the end of his reign. And there you have it, folks. Jinwoo being the strongest hunter in the world and the second Shadow Monarch, having inherited the position from his predecessor Ashbourne. These monarchs are an age-old race of formidable creatures with a singular goal: the eradication of humanity, except for Ashbourne. Are you curious for other solo leveling content? Well, that's the subject of this other video. Click on this other cool video to see more. Go ahead, click it.